Solo leveling sucks fucking ass.
Solo leveling really isn't that good.
Solo leveling is not peak, bro.
Why do we hate JIN-WOO but love Goku? In other words, why does one power fantasy get a pass while the other gets scrutinized? This is a question I've been wrestling with ever since finishing season 2 of Solo Leveling and hearing all the hate for the show, because if you're a normal person like me, Solo Leveling was a simple yet action-packed anime with crazy good fights, just like Dragon Ball, and the people who hate it are just big-brained losers. But through this video, we'll learn that that's nowhere close to the truth, because being a fan of both series has definitely exposed me to the similarities, but also to some pretty stark differences. 3 differences in fact that explain why we adore Goku but despise JIN-WOO. Let's get started. The first reason we love Goku but hate JIN-WOO is story buildup. What I mean is how the story builds up to the point where the main character comes in to save the day. In Dragon Ball, we get long suspenseful arcs with heroes and villains who win and lose win, up until all the other heroes are down, all hope is gone, then Goku emerges from whatever secret training he's done, ready to save the day in style. And even then, it's never an instant win for Goku. He has to fight with that dog in him, gi ripped apart, blood, sweat, tears. Like, people really forget how stretched out those fight scenes were. Each one was 3 episodes minimum, and that was me watching Dragon Ball Z Kai, the non-filler version. I don't want to even imagine how Original Z was doing my people. Whereas in Solo Leveling, once JIN-WOO has a handle on the situation, it's an immediate belt to ass for the next 10 minutes, especially in season 2. Like, once he goes through that whole "I understand it now" phase, you're cooked. And this method is rinsed and repeated, episode after episode. Sometimes they don't even have JIN-WOO go through a little struggle at the beginning of a fight. He'll just be chilling, a monster will appear, and JIN-WOO will take it down with ease. The result of this is that even though the same thing is happening in both shows, i.e. the main character being the only one who beats the main villain, and in theory we should get bored of both, in reality the audience has completely different reactions. With Goku, the narrative built up to his victory. It shows us where other legitimate options have failed, and therefore Goku is the only person left who can really save the day. Basically, Goku's wins make sense and feel earned, which keeps the story interesting and keeps us tuning in with no complaints. But with JIN-WOO, aside from a couple episodes here and there, there's practically no build up to his victories. No real explanation for why this guy is the only person who can save the day. JIN-WOO winning is just another day at the office. It's to be expected. And though this issue can be glossed over with some pretty cool fights, after a while, all the bright colors in the world can't mask the real issue: the lack of story build-up and narrative in this show, causing the backlash we see. However, story build-up isn't the only cause for the gap in love for these 2 men. To further understand that, we need to take a look at how both series justify the strength of their main character. Please like and sub. To clarify, Goku's strength works in Dragon Ball, but JIN-WOO's strength does not in Solo Leveling, leaving the show unfair and thus uninteresting. Goku's strength is believable in Dragon Ball because it's normal for a couple characters to be as strong as Goku, or at least relative to him. Hear me out. In the world of Dragon Ball, there are many avenues a character can take to get to a relative power level that don't break the story. It's easiest if you're just born insane, then go through the same experiences as Goku and you'll be dodging hits like this. You could be an alien as strong as Goku, or an artificially created android. Magic can be used to make someone as strong as Goku. You can come from another universe. Heck, if you're a regular person, you can just wish on the Dragon Balls to become as strong as Goku. The fact that so many people, in theory, can achieve the same power level as Goku but don't, force us to look deeper at what sets Goku apart. His mentality, his work ethic, his love for fighting, all things which compel us to respect him, justifying the power fantasy of Dragon Ball in the process. In contrast, no one can be like JIN-WOO. No one around him can be reliably as strong as Jin. Like, this story of Solo Leveling is built around JIN-WOO being the only person with real life hacks that allow him to level up while all others can't. And the use of strength in this way creates huge problems. First, it means that the entire cast of the show can't keep up with JIN-WOO in fights, so a large pool of potentially interesting characters are basically irrelevant. Like, I distinctly remember being hyped that the strongest hunter in Japan could potentially be a rival for Jin-Woo, to seeing that person be Ant Chow in the space of 2-3 episodes. Second, it makes us question the strength of any villain in the show, because unless you got the same powers as Jin-Woo, you're not really a threat for long, again reducing a large source of intrigue in solo leveling. And third, it prevents us from actually digging deeper into who Jin-Woo is as a person. Like the classic quotes from JJK, is he the strongest because he's Jin-Woo, or is he Jin-Woo because he's the strongest? In other words, if everyone in the world of solo leveling had the same powers as Jin-Woo, would Jin-Woo still stand out as the strongest? I know my answer for Goku, but I don't know it for Jin-Woo, highlighting that there's a lack of character substance in the show and proving why we can look past certain things for Goku but not Jin-Woo. Yet, story buildup and how both animes deal with strength can only take you so far to fully comprehend why we admire Goku but detest Jin-Woo. To fully understand that, we have to look at who they are as people. To put it simply, Goku is a better person than Jin-Woo, which helps us take Dragon Ball more seriously than solo leveling. Like, despite all the deadbeat dad allegations, which are not true, Goku has proven time after time of putting the lives of others before his own, to the point he self-sacrificed multiple times and stayed dead just to ensure less trouble for the world. And when you see Goku's good actions, it's difficult to chalk up Dragon Ball as simply being a power fantasy, because that selfishness that is key to a power fantasy is just not there. But you know where it is? In solo leveling. In Jin-Woo. Like, I've never met a person as self-absorbed as Jin. If you ain't his family or a convenient person to save, he doesn't know you, bro. He will deadass watch you get your back broken right in front of you and won't do a thing until the urge to aura farm leaves. He knew people were getting massacred on that ant island and still continued to spend time with his family like it wasn't his problem. And this is where the distinction in both shows is really clear. In Goku, you have a person who constantly wrestles with his strength and who ultimately understands it's a responsibility not to be taken lightly. On the other hand, you have a guy who uses his power whenever he wants. So if Jin-Woo isn't taking his power seriously, how can we, the audience, be expected to take his show seriously? To conclude, most people don't hate solo leveling because they think they're too good for a simple power fantasy. They hate it because it lacks story buildup, has a funny relationship with power, and got a main character who may watch you die if the sunset hits him at just the right angle. That's all I have time for today. Please like and subscribe. Love y'all. Bye.